Oh, it's all the elections equipment. Yeah, and Kate and Jamie and Cindy passed the test, the certification test today.
Jamie too?
Oh, yeah, she. Hey, that was important. We might get into a little bit of a discussion on item number 12, the zoning ordinance change, just a heads
Yeah, I
up.
think that needs to be explained a little bit.
Cindy's gonna join us via Zoom.
Yeah, because
If we have to
that
have a-
came kind of out of, I mean, Chris is there. It looks like the planning commission looked
Chris,
at it.
Chris will not be here tonight.
So Chris won't be here tonight, even though she said she was going to.
She
Not to
tripped
make
up
it.
the stairs or something.
Oh,
again.
geez.
I know.
That's my cue, huh?
It is.
All right. Like to call to order the city council meeting, City of Saugatuck, for Monday, October 25th, 2021. Would all please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First order of business would be one is to introduce our new city clerk, Jamie Walters. Who's going to do the roll call. And so welcome, Jamie, a graduate of Saugatuck High School and pretty much a lifelong resident of the area. So welcome, Jamie. Her first official duty would be to call the roll, please. Here. Here.
Here. Here.
Good. Here.
Here.
Councilperson Peterson is absent with prior notice. If there's no objection or vote, so we'll accept that as unanimous consent. Recognizing her absence. Moving on for approval of minutes for our regular city council from meeting from October 11th. Do I have a motion?
Mayor,
Yes.
move to approve the regular city council meeting minutes, October 11, 2021.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion by Dean, seconded by Lewis to approve the council minutes from October 11th that's presented. Any council comment or corrections? If not, all those in favor of the motion say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? None opposed. Do we have minutes? Okay. We'll now pass around minutes from our special council or our closed session. That was also held on October 11th. Council, please take a moment to review.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move to approve the regular city council meeting closed session minutes from October 11th, 2021.
Okay, we have a motion by Stanton, seconded by Truster to approve the closed session minutes from October 11th, 2021 as presented. All those in favor of the motion say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? None opposed, so carried. Please initial the minutes and pass them back around to our clerk for filing accordingly.
Thank you.
Moving on to mayor's comments. Just like to recognize, follow up on an article in our last week's commercial record regarding a special award for our fire chief, Greg Janik. He's been presented the Michigan Fire Inspector Society's 2021 President's Award. The honor is given members and those who help the MFIS meet its missions and goals. We know that Chief Janik does a great job for our community, and it's, I think, a great reflection on not only his ability, but also our community as a whole to be recognized on a state level. So I'd like to congratulate Greg on this award and the achievement, and continually thank him for the service he provides to not only Saugatuck, but our tri-community, along with his very capable staff, which he's responsible for in his department. Moving on, city manager report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. City manager report starts on page 6 of your agenda packet. Thank you for the warm welcome to Ms. Jamie Walters, who did an awesome job with roll call. You're doing great. Keep it up. So also, I'd like to explain a little bit about the new audio visual equipment. I know it's a little disappointing that we still have the little projector going, but envision 2 big screens going to go on each wall. So that's forthcoming. Kate, do you know the lead time on that? I always.
Yeah, I talked to him today and he said it was about 60 days out, so I can't imagine December, January, maybe.
Okay.
Installation date.
Yeah, okay. But everything outside of that works great. We have the camera system, which is new. We'll see some settings tonight that kind of zooms in on the people that are speaking. That has to be worked manually. So Jamie's going to work that out for us tonight. But otherwise, people can hear us, we can hear them. I mean, I think we're going to have a brief presentation by Cindy tonight, so you'll be able to hear the audio from the other side. And yeah, once we have the TV screens, we're going to be up and running. So I do want to thank Kate for bringing this project home. She really grabbed onto it and did great work for us. So thank you. It's been a long time coming. Outside of that, in the city manager's report, you'll see a lot of landscape upgrades that I put in there. Happy to answer any questions that you have on that. Couple of things that I want to point out. Page 6, one of the first page, you see Kate White playing bags against Scott Herbert. And I also played in that game, and Scott Herbert won pretty handedly. So just want to put that out there. I will also mention that the person that built these was the high school shop teacher, Mr. Heiser.
Nice.
And we were hoping the students could get involved, but their workload was already pretty heavy. But we are going to take these back to the school, and then we're going to have them painted by the students. So
Nice.
hopefully we can get them to the elementary school and back to the high school art class as well.
Nice.
So more fun things to come with
Hold
that.
on.
But it was super. It was a little delayed in coming because it was my hope to have them built locally and definitely in a connection with the high school. So that happened.
That's great.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
And then, as I mentioned, landscape changes are a big part of my report. We have a pretty lengthy scope of work on what we're trying to do with just some freshening up, refurbishment of some long neglect, well, I won't say neglected, some spaces that we could not get to, so I guess that's neglected after a while. And I think both Scott Herbert and I are pretty excited about this. And if you look at page 27 of your packet, another picture of Scott, who seems pretty excited about getting that plant out of there. That nefarious plant. Anyways, so we worked on both the Village Square property, the basketball court area, and then also the Rose Garden, which has come up in communication as of late. So collecting proposals, and we'll bring those back to council, and then we can have a discussion on anything you want related to the landscape changes. So
Great.
Mr. Mayor, with that, that completes my report. Happy to take any questions.
Scott?
Thank you, Mayor. Ryan, I had a constituent comment that apparently there was a close call between maybe a high school driver and a very young child in front of the high school. And that person wondered if it's feasible this time of year, now that summer's over, to redeploy maybe one of the radar signs somewhere around the high school. Maybe it's just a prompt for some of our newer drivers that are coming in and out of the high school.
So relocate, is that what you're asking? I'm
If
sorry. I
that's,
missed that.
yeah, I mean, I believe some of them are being decommissioned for the season anyway.
Correct.
Is it possible to maybe deploy one?
Let me inquire about it. When I asked Scott about decommissioning for the season, it was an issue with the snow and the weather.
Right.
But let me confirm that and then make an inquiry. And then we can, just let me know where you'd like to see it placed possibly, and then we'll continue the dialogue.
Yeah, I can interface with that constituent and
Okay,
see if they have a suggestion.
sure.
Any other questions for Ryan? Regarding one topic, the Campbell Ward or the Campbell Road project. They are starting to get situated. They've today a delivery of dozens and dozens of water pipe are sitting now alongside Campbell Road. There was a large loader there over the weekend. I don't know, it might have been relocated. There's directional signs being done, so that's going to be kicked off pretty quick. So there's the latest on Campbell Road. I'll keep council informed. Is that it, Ryan?
It is.
Okay, thank you. Any agenda changes? Ryan,
No, Mr. Mayor.
council, clerks? We have two clerks. Anything, no agenda from your standpoint? Thank you. Moving on to guest speakers. Our first guest speaker, Lieutenant Brett Ensfield, Allegheny County Sheriff's Department.
How's it going? We got several new officers still in training. You probably will see those individuals around town here with Deputy Flockster or Deputy Kling. They're training officers. The parade on the agenda, we should be all set with all that. I sent an email to Gregory, letting him know that who was working that day and everything. So, and also we do have a reserve school set to start around December 1st, which roughly is looking probably about 15 people, which will kind of get us back to where we were before the pandemic. We're down to roughly about 14 reserves right now. So it'll get us back to roughly where we should be. But I think at our high point, we had almost 40, mid 40s. Yeah, that's about it. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. I can try to
Council,
answer.
any
So.
questions for the lieutenant this evening?
Mayor, I've got a question. So Lieutenant Ensfield, I saw it come across yesterday that the Groves truck was stolen. there,
Yeah,
like-
yeah, that's,
Any
um,
news on that?
no, we don't
That's a
have any,
big pickup truck.
yeah, don't have any leads and stuff. I believe it was unlocked and the keys were inside it, but yeah. We've had a rash of stolen cars. We've probably had more stolen cars in this last year and a half than probably 25 years that I've been in law enforcement. Just, mostly joyriding and, take it and then we'll find them, in the city or something, just, people grab them and take off with them and, a lot of our like gun store robberies and stuff, those have been stolen vehicles that, end up smashing through the things, but a lot of those have been stolen from dealerships and stuff, but over on that Seagull Plainville area, we've had quite a few that are, people jump in them and take off, and then middle of the night or whatever, somebody leaves it parked in the yard, and then end up down in Kalamazoo at, apartment complex or whatever. So, yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, we've had a couple MDOPs down at the bathrooms and stuff with the soda dispensers. We've kind of been working on that. So
What was that again?
it's a couple damage of the soap dispensers down at the bathrooms. So we've kind of been working on that, trying to catch those people. We've got a couple leads on that. So we've been working on that too. So yeah, other than that, that's about it. So we've been, I know there's been a couple complaints in front of the high school about the parking there and stuff. So, I mean, I don't think there's anything around we can do with that right now. I mean, it's just the way the school pickup and setup is right now.
Right.
So, it's like, I can't really do enforcement out there with 50 parents trying to pick their pick their kids up and stuff after school. So, but yeah, it's just one of those things where try to work around some of the issues that caused by the construction at the middle school. Kind of bleeds over to here with, the different parents and stuff picking up. So, yeah, if that's all, I'm probably not going to be here in the meetings in November because I'm on vacation. But if you guys have anything that you need or whatever, just send Ryan and have him send me an email. I'll get on it so we can deal with it at nighttime. So,
Very good.
Would it, I have a
Yeah.
question. Would it help just to have an officer in place maybe on Allegan for a while, just, for a week, just as school's getting started, just
we've been up
been
there.
up and around?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it sounds like you're aware of it and
Yeah, it's
just
kind of
happens
a
every year.
kind of ongoing
Okay,
thing sometimes. It's like sometimes we're not there. That's the thing, and
right. You can't always. be
can't
there.
always be at the
Right,
right place,
okay.
right time. We're trying to focus on different things at times, and just sometimes it's not the right thing we're focusing on. So.
Thank you.
Thing. So, but yeah, well, I'll make sure they're aware of it to try to pay a little bit more attention to the traffic issues and stuff. So,
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, council all set? All right, thanks, Brad. Appreciate you
Have a-
showing up. Next guest speaker, Dan Fox, Saugatuck Township Fire District.
Thank you. This reports on the fire board meeting, Township Fire Board meeting on the 18th of October. The highlights, we reviewed the fire district's financials, we always do, and approved payments totaling $102,367.46 for the month. Our review of the budget was just really a cursory review because Peter was absent due to health reasons. Chief Janik's report included the following. He updated his regular call report and analysis for September, which deck I think has been previously sent to all of you. I hope so. If not, I brought it along. Calls are up 14% versus year ago. Year ago was a low year. Motor vehicle incidents at 63 incidents for the year amount to a 43% increase year to year, including 2 additional accidents over the period between our 2 meetings at the chief likes to refer to as crash corner out here. Motor vehicle, new tracking data, new data added to report incidents, impaired driving incidents involving alcohol or other chemicals. They show, we've now done this 2 months in a row and it's stayed the same at about 10% of those being accounted for or having those substances involved. Chief noted that fire deaths in Michigan now stand at 74 so far in 2021. He also noted receipt of a $3,794 FEMA grant received by the department for partial funding of protective equipment used during COVID. He advised the board of a donation from Applegate R Foam, that's the name of the company, for trailer insulation on a trailer that the department already has and was also donated. 26-foot, what they call a rehab trailer. The National Fire Protective Association requires fire department personnel to quote unquote rehab after they've used 2 oxygen bottles. So they have to go someplace where their body temperature can settle, their heart rates can settle and whatever, and that's a requirement. So when you have that, not so bad if it happens in the summer, you just hang around someplace, but in bad weather and cold weather, that trailer is a needed piece of equipment. It's just been sitting there because it hasn't been properly outfitted. This donation helps get it to the stage where it'll be operational. And we agreed to send, the board agreed to sit with the chief to send a thank you for that. We reviewed the status of the settlement, pending settlement for the 2192 fireboat sinking. That is between the insurance company and the department, and there's some amount of back and forth, but the belief is that the ultimate settlement will be a full cost insurance settlement, roughly $120,000 to the fire district, and the commissioning of a replacement boat, which will be a new boat. I mean, completely built boat. The cause of the incident appears to be a failed electrical connection to the bilge pumps, which when combined with particularly heavy rain, got the water to a level that the bilge pump should have been active. They didn't activate, so down she went. Chief updated the board on soon to be finalized lawsuit settlement regarding the township, the development of the township we mentioned before, and the fire district's indemnification related there too, because part of the pending agreement is a reduced flow, reduced size fire water service to that development, reduced from what is recommended, so that the fire district wants and needs to be indemnified based on that, because it's outside of the requirements. Under new business, as Mark did earlier, the chief advised the board of that the receipt of the President's Award, which really is a big deal. And it was kind of cool because they also had, we didn't get it till after the meeting because it didn't work on the Zoom deal, but they also had the video of him. Vicky got him there, and it's something he would have gone to. As a matter of course, he did not know it was coming. And when they call his name, you can see he's completely taken by surprise. So as I say, a very big deal. The fire board reviewed and accepted the staff's recommendation to authorize the filling of an additional full-time firefighter /EMS /clerk position, in part to address recent staff turnover. That position is already funded and is in the current budget. That concludes the notes I have from the meeting. Any questions at all? Happy to at least try and address them.
Council, any meeting or any questions for Dan? All right, thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Next agenda item is opportunity for the public to address council. We ask that at this time you, if you wish to address council, keep your comments to agenda items only. There'll be a second opportunity at the closer to the end of the meeting to address council on any items that you feel that you'd like council to hear about. So I invite anybody up to the podium who wishes to address council. If you are so inclined, please identify yourself by name, community, or residence, and limit your comments to 3 minutes, if you would, please.
Mayor, I wanted to follow up on what I was here about 2 weeks ago. So it's not on the agenda, but it is in the minutes. Is it okay if I go now?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Glenna DeYoung, Saugatuck. So I was here 2 weeks ago talking about what's happening at the county with the Apportionment Commission. And to remind you again, they had tentatively maybe, or they say they approved a 5-district map, which would be a reduction in how many districts we currently have here in Allegan County. Therefore, a large increase in the number of citizens that the commissioner from our district then would represent. Actually, it's about a 40% increase. And if you think of it now, Dean Cappinga doesn't have time to come here a lot. He's going to have even less time if this map stands. So as you know, we tried to rally the troops, get people to that October 20th meeting. We had about 30 people show up, and I thought it was fantastic. We did have public comment from Scott, joined by Zoom, so thank you, hopefully on behalf of the council here. Pat Lyon, the mayor of Douglas, was there, made public comment, and John Helmrich and Brenda Marcy from Township Board were there and made public comment also. Both of them are sending or have sent letters already as an entire council or board. And I understand you guys are doing it as individual letters, which I think is great too, because hopefully they'll be inundated. What they were trying to do was just sort of rubber stamp their vote for a 5-district map. And I think because of all the public comment and Jill Dunham presented a memo with an opinion from the Attorney General's office that this is really getting into the weeds, but talking about when the day of the process started. And again, they had 30 days to consider maps once they got the data, but they had to vote on a map before 60 days. We believe, and the Attorney General's office says that that date started on September 16th, because that's when they received the final data, census data from the state. That therefore means that their vote on the 28th was too early, because it was within that 30 days. And as a matter of fact, that's why they were trying to meet again and just rubber stamp that same map. Well, with Jill introducing the Attorney General's memo, and I think kind of the public outrage that was there, they did not re-vote on that map, but they did not vote on any other maps either. So they're waiting to get a legal opinion from their county council on when did that date actually start, August 15th or September 16th. So I think we've succeeded in delaying them. Thank you for the people that came forward. I don't think it's a done deal. I know, and I have seen responses to your letters from Bob Janetsky, the county clerk. And I have to tell you, what he is saying is baloney. He tried to overwhelm you with irrelevant things just so you wouldn't have time to look at it and respond. But what he is basically saying is what the statute says. Hopefully I can get this in 3 minutes because it's important, but there's so many details. The statute said that counties our size must choose between 5 and 21 districts, therefore commissioners. Once you decide on what's adequate, there are 8 guidelines in order of importance that they follow. Bob has picked out guideline 5 and said that that's the most important. There should be no splits. And he is sticking to that opinion, even though he is wrong. I will tell you that right now. He is wrong. And what he is saying is you can only draw 5 district maps that have no splits. If you try 6, 7, 8, 9, any other number, you're going to get a split. That is absolutely allowed. But he's saying it's not, and he has elevated that to the top reason. So just because he said that doesn't mean it's true, and I think we need to push back on that. We are waiting to hear if and when they are going to convene another meeting of their apportionment commission, and I will let you know. So thanks. Happy to answer any questions.
You bet. Anyone else in the audience wish to address council this evening? If none, we'll continue with the agenda. We have no consent agenda this evening. Next order of business, request for payments on accounts payable.
Mr. Mayor,
Ken?
I would move to approve accounts payable of $380,796.08.
Second.
Okay, motion by Trester, seconded by Lewis to approve the payable, accounts payable presented this evening. Any questions by council?
Mayor, I have a
Yes.
question. Just really, I've never seen this before. We've had sheriff overtime pulled out like that. Is that new, or is it just now that I'm just noticing it? I mean, it's not much. Is that related to the 4th of July? Or?
It's probably summer patrols, I would think.
Yeah, because it says reserve deputies, sheriff, sheriff contract's normal. We have that all the time. I'm just curious.
You have it in 2 places.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
twice.
Let me,
Just curious.
I'll follow up why it's pulled out.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've never seen it before.
I think,
But I have a
I'll
problem.
follow up.
Brett, you have a comment on that?
I think it's from the, I think we
Jason was off for night vacation.
Ah.
And in September, I believe. Night of that, and we added that other person to fill in for him. So Jason would work, it would just move it, it would be right out of the normal operating cost. But since we had somebody else fill in for Jason.
Okay. All right.
Thanks for that explanation.
Any need to follow up then?
No.
Okay, thanks for being here.
Question. Ryan, item 22, net 2 phone Inc. Is that part of our new system or is that who? $9,700 a plus.
Oh, that was Ottawa area. That was the phones are 17709.
Yeah, that's our internet phone system. That's on a 100.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All good.
Yeah, yep. That's a property tax thing.
Mhm.
My bad. Thank you. I suppose I got the glasses. There it goes. Okay. Sorry, any other questions? So we have a motion to approve the accounts payable. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, none opposed. So carried. Next agenda item, zoning ordinance change, I guess, an amendment to zoning ordinance.
Mhm. Yep,
All
Mr.
right, you lead off or you're gonna?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. This is on page 37 of your packet. And yeah, what you're seeing is introduction of an ordinance. So this is going to be your first review of an ordinance change. And we have Cindy on the call. So we're going to test out our equipment and test out our PowerPoint screen share. And, this came through the Planning and Zoning Commission. And so it's up to council whether they approve this or not. Again, this is your first review. So please do ask as many questions as you have. You'll see this again at another point for final review. Cindy, correct me if I'm wrong on any of my statements, and I'm going to turn it over to you at this point. You with us?
I am with you, and you've done a wonderful job of introducing it. This is the R4 Transitional Zone District labeled as CER. It is a buffer zone district between the intense commercial zone district and the community residential zone district. It's a smallish zone district with not a lot of parcels in it. I think you can see on the screen that Kate has up now. It's the two little light yellow, or it looks like kind of light pink in the black boxes. And what it does is allow for alignment of new construction to be in line with the front yard setback of existing structures in certain conditions. So you do have more time to look at it, and I'd be happy to go over it in more detail at the next workshop before you take action. But it was recommended unanimously by the Planning Commission.
And Cindy, can you just tell us a little bit about how it came to be and why the Planning and Zoning Commission is reviewing it?
Yeah, I am always looking at things that are in our zoning ordinance that either don't make sense or could be handled differently in a more streamlined fashion, or could pose a problem. It was brought to my attention that on one of the blocks, I think it's between St. Joseph and the next street to the west, that there are 4 structures there. And they all are closer than 20 feet, which is the required setback in the zone district. And if one of those properties wanted to rebuild, they could not rebuild in the same footprint without a variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals. And the point is, a lot of cities and a lot of jurisdictions have this in their zoning ordinance that says, if you've already established a setback on one side of the street between 2 intersecting streets, you can use the established setback. Planning Commission found that that was really quite reasonable. And other places that I've worked had a minimum of 5. even if some of the structures were right up tight against the sidewalk. The Planning Commission felt really comfortable with 7 because that's the same setback as the side yard. So that's what you see in your recommendation. It doesn't affect all the blocks, but it affects probably about 4 or 5 blocks that will be allowed to use that exception. It's been called a variance. It's not a variance. It's just changing what the actual setback is. And I believe it's good urban planning to have things lined up and with a smaller front yard setback in a heavily populated area. In fact, in the city of Holland, this exception covered all the zone districts, not just one smaller zone district. And I think after we see how much we like it or don't like it, we can apply it or not apply it to other zone districts. But a person did come to me and ask the question. And when I went through the whole zone district, it's applicable in a lot of parts of this zone district.
Okay, and just so council's clear, they're gonna have another review of this in a little more detail at their upcoming workshop.
Yes,
And then
and
they
I would be
can-
happy to go over that block by block if you're so inclined, but it's a really common way to deal with setbacks that are largely non-conforming.
Cindy, even though we will have the opportunity to discuss this again at our November 8th meeting, the workshop prior to, should we still go through with the motion to make this an actionable item at our next meeting?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. So council, before I'll entertain a motion and we can have additional questions if you want of Cindy, or we can hold those to our next workshop. If there's no questions, do I have a motion to place this on the agenda for action at our November 8th meeting?
I'm gonna, sorry, Mayor.
Sure.
I'm gonna wait to do anything like that, because I have some questions for Cindy that I'd really like to have answered in the workshop setting. I'd like to have a better understanding. And I know, Cindy, we started noodling about this when I was still on planning commission, so it's not new. I guess my questions will be at that workshop, how many more residences are we talking about that are not included in those 2 districts that you have highlighted in that map? Because it sounded like when you were going through it, that there were quite a few more. And if Holland has done this, would it make sense to approach this in a similar way rather than establishing a city central transitional residential district? So those are kind of the questions I'm trying to understand. Does that make sense?
I think I understand the question to be, why are we limiting it to the CER zone district instead of going citywide?
Yeah.
I have not had a chance to do a study, a block by block study of the entire city. And I think that's kind of important. But I could also check with our zoning consultant, see what he has to say about it, if he has anything to add. Just because you put it on the agenda for the November 8th meeting doesn't mean you have to vote on it then, but you have the opportunity to.
Mayor?
Yes.
So again, Cindy, is there a crunch with this? Is there a timing issue? Some sense of emergency that we need to get it done by the 8th, or can we wait?
I wouldn't call it emergency, but there is somebody who is interested in starting to make plans and needs to have something firm to be able to start spending money on plans and drawings. And so
we're-
that's the
we're-
only reason.
Okay, so we're really only talking about an additional 2 weeks, really?
Mhm.
Okay.
Right. Council, other comments, or we can table this or postpone it, basically. I think it'd be more of a postponement. Pending answer specific questions and concerns at our next workshop. Then vote at next meeting to approve it in the second meeting in November. Seems to be the consensus.
Yes.
I don't think we necessarily need a vote on that.
No, just no action on the item.
No action taken. So Cindy, anything else to add?
No, I think that's it. And at your workshop, I'll be able to give you a more comprehensive review.
All right,
Thank you,
great.
Cindy.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Cindy.
Mhm.
Well, moving on, we have no public hearings this evening. We have no unfinished business. New business, we have review and approval of a special event application from Sadaba regarding the People and Pets Halloween Parade.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
motion to
Mr.
approve
Dean.
the special event permit for Sadaba's annual People and Pets Halloween Parade on Saturday, October 30th.
Second.
There you go.
Second. Okay. So there's a motion by Dean, seconded by Leo to approve the motion on the Sadaba's Halloween activities. Any further questions or comments?
Do those of us with pets that are very excited about the parade need to recuse ourselves?
It's always a lot of fun.
Only if your pet can vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
All right. If there's no further questions, all those in favor of the motion say yes.
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 Opposed, none opposed, so carried. Again, this is our second opportunity for the public to address council. If anyone wishes to address council on any topic of they so wish, please step up to the podium. Identify yourself by name and community of residence, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Welcome, sir.
Good evening. Tim Woodby and my wife Rosemary, 500 Mill Street in Saugatuck. Mill Street is an interesting little road, travels in between Holland and Simonson, kind of meanders over private property and back to roadway. Our concerns are that on the agenda, there is an approval of funding for using millings, asphalt millings, also known as RAP, on Mill Street. RAP, if you've read about it, or if you're concerned about it, if you read about the documentation, its uses, its environmentally friendliness or lack thereof, its economical uses, it's overwhelming, your head will hurt. There was an interesting little document that I found that I sent to the staff here and Chris Peterson, who we know, and it was a recommendation that it not be used near waterways because of the leaching effect of crushed asphalt. Over time, it drains into the water. It is a toxin. Diesel fuels, whatever they use to glue it together, comes off. I notice it is on your agenda. Mill Street is a very small street, and as I said, it meanders. We are really not clear where Mill Street is. I know it's been marked in front of our street because we had to have our property surveyed several times and had stakes made, and when we had the stakes inserted, they were approximately 4 feet in the roadway. There is a topographical issue with Mill Street. It drains right into, and I believe it's called Coon Creek, whatever you want to call it. It's a creek that's just on the south side of Mill Street. And if the street is properly placed, if the millings are properly placed in a roadway, it'll be an approximation of about 4 feet away from the water. Our concern is environmental. We have no other say than that. You are the decision makers. We would prefer not to have the millings used. Find something a little more environmentally friendly. And that is about all I have to say.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Woodby. Okay. Thank you for your comments. Moving on, anybody else wish to address council? Okay. Next, boards and commission reports. Garnett, I know you wanted to share some information from a recycling group.
Sure. Yeah, thank you. I sent along today the good news that the recycling committee had received the Recycling Partnership and Michigan Eagle Grant to do a pre and post audit of the recycling bins. This is a nice little kudo to the committee. It'll take place all of 2022. And there'll be quite a bit of education that'll go along with it. So we're really excited about that and a little overwhelmed. It's going to be quite the project, but random selection. So we're trying not to do too much information because then people will like get better at what they're supposed to be doing. And we don't want to do them at first. You know, we want them to just recycle as they normally do and then get better. So that's our hope. So we're actually kind of a little bit of a test project, control group, if you will, because our residents don't have to recycle. They decide of their own volition, even though it's considered as part of the contract. And then we have the township that's just, you know, contracts with whoever they want. It's up to the individual. So they're using us as a test to see if we can have an impact across the board in an opt-in system is what they call it. And then today we submitted a small little $10,000 grant to do a similar type audit for businesses to make the case to both recycle and compost on a business level. Because right now they have to do that of their own volition. It's not included in a single hauler contract. So it's quite expensive for businesses. So we're going to try to do the same thing on the business end. So we're really excited. A lot going on.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cindy's still with us? By any
Yes.
chance? Cindy, do you mind giving counsel with Chris, in Chris's absence? And I know Dan's here, but can you give council kind of an overview of the planning commission meeting last Thursday?
Sure, I'd be happy to, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
We had 2 agenda items last planning commission meeting. One was to condoize an existing building with no changes to the exterior and no changes to the floor plan, just a change of ownership scheme to be different, more affordable for the property owner. The second item was the site plan and special land use permit for the Butler's 2-story open deck. And there was a lot of discussion about that. There was concerns raised. There were things that they thought were good, things that they thought were not so good. But in the end, the site plan review and special land use were approved. It was not unanimous. We were able to require them to grant an easement for the boardwalk and get fire department review and approval. Go back to the historic district with some very minor changes to the exterior application of materials and a few other things that my home computer will not let me open. But overall, it was a good discussion and a lot of issues were aired and discussed. And I don't know if Dan wants to add anything to that.
No, that was basically, I think that's 6-1 from the state.
Okay. All right.
All right. Council, any questions on that?
Nope.
All right. Thanks, Cindy. Kind of a,
Sorry, when you're done.
kind of a hit you up that impromptu, but appreciate your comments. Holly?
Sorry, I was very eager. I was just really excited to say that the non-motorized trail committee, we got our Michigan Department of Transportation Alternative Program grant application in October 13th.
Nice. Well done.
So we will find out if we have what's called a conditional commitment, which means that we're competitive. We'll find that out March 9th. Our trust fund application will not go until April. We won't find out about that until December 22nd. So these are long time frames. But and the trust fund and the TAP grant do sort of work in concert together. And if we find out in March, if we are competitive, we will then move into the design phase. So fingers crossed.
Okay.
But a big thank you to everyone on the committee and the entire community and Ryan for really, everybody pitched in to make it happen. So
And yourself, good job.
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mayor can give a report from Cal Lake Sewer and Water Authority. We had our monthly meeting actually earlier today. We were informed that the utility is fully operational, recovered from our August and October storms. So we were operating on backup generators for close to 2 months in a couple of our lift stations. We had some issues at our reservoir. The computerized system that automatically turns on the pumps and keeps the reservoir levels up at an operational level to maintain our drinking water system. Those had to be manually operated for about 6 weeks because of supply chain issues with parts. Our manager did get the parts and ordered duplicate parts, so we wouldn't be faced with that again. So that was good news. Other than that, was just standard updates on operations. We had one action item. It's a item that we have been discussing for a while. I think I shared with council that we did a fairly significant wage study at Cal Lake and adjusted wages. We have looked at benefits. What we're trying to do is develop a competitive environment where we can attract, hire, and maintain individuals who want to learn the water and sewer treatment duties or as a career. We have instituted pay grade increases once they attain certain credentials. Our system is available 5 different licenses that employees can study and state licenses. They are not easy licenses. And so we have put in as incentive that if they pass the exam, once they are awarded these licenses, that they get a bonus, just an incentive bonus, recognition bonus ranging from $500 to $750, a one-time payment. And then on top of that, they get wage adjustments when they also make those, earn those licenses. So this is something that we've been working on for several months, and the board approved that today. In addition, again, there's other incentives. If they get a CDL license with a hazardous material, like pumping out the sewer system is considered hazardous through the state. So they have to have the hazardous operating. They do get also an adjustment in their base wage for an hourly wage for that. So that's the latest from Cal Lake. Yeah. I think that probably takes care of Ken.
No, the Harbor Authority,
Okay.
where I was the orphan of the report. We did meet last week and welcomed 2 new representatives from the township, which is now officially part of the Cal Lake Harbor Authority that we've been working on for like 5 years to make happen. We've been looking at a scheme to put not warning lights, but navigation lights on the bridge, the Blue Star Bridge, and are looking at the cost now. They cost a lot more than we thought they would cost when we first started looking at it, but we'll decide whether to try to move ahead with that once we know how much it'll cost. We discussed requesting from Eagle that the water between the Blue Star Bridge and the Highway Bridge be declared totally a no wake zone. Right now, about half of that is no wake. And the half that is not affects Schultz Park and the boat landings there. It affects the owners of a private marina on the other side of the lake. In order to get that, it's a laborious process through Eagle. Right, I think it's Eagle is the one now that responsible for that, including public hearings and so on. But it needs to start with a resolution from each of the communities, each of the 3 communities requesting this to happen. I believe Rich Lombard at Douglas is leading the effort to draft something like that, and we'll ask each of the municipalities to consider it and pass it. We'll probably do it as a tri-community thing where it'll be one resolution that we all sign on to. So basically, that's it, unless you have questions.
Oh.
Council, any questions? Harbor Authority wise? If none, I believe that kind of completes all our various boards and commissions this evening. Around the council for council comments, starting, Lauren?
Nothing at this time, Mr.
All
Mayor.
right, thank you. Scott?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
All right. Garnett?
Welcome, Jamie.
All right. Holly?
Welcome, Jamie. We're glad you're
Right.
here.
Jen?
Yeah, likewise.
Okay, that being done, entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I guess we'll just wrap it.
We're dismissed. All right. I don't want to offend anybody.
That's it, Jamie.
Like Ken Trust.